Gala Music, welcome to another Emerging Artist AMA. Jessarae, you pretend to be a robot over there, like you're just
I
at
was
that.
I was giving it like an intro of my.
That grand entrance.
I like that. I am Taco, community manager, and I'm super excited today because I'm talking to a couple of guys who have been on the Gala Music scene since the Gala Music LA event, which feels like it was 7 months ago. So we've got Maserati-E and we have Jessarae. How are you guys doing?
What up? What up? Man, blessed to be here. Blessed to be here. Excited, man.
Same thing for me. I'm so stoked to be here.
You're stoked to be here, even though we will keep up because you are in Tokyo right now. Thank you for getting up early for this.
Absolutely. I've learned some new manners since I've been out here, a lot of bowing and stuff. So.
That's great. Yeah, we had originally had your drop scheduled a couple of weeks ago, but we paused them, and then we thought we'd just pick up with you guys again. And so we just like scheduled it and then tried to get at you guys, and we didn't know that you were in Japan, and so we're like sending emails. It's like, what is going on with this guy? It's like, oh, he's actually in a totally different continent. And of course, you gotta check his Gala email every day.
Man, I had to be here. I had to make it happen with you guys.
That's dedication right there.
Yeah, at Maserati, we knew you were available because you're in Discord every day, going to everybody else's streams, supporting everybody. You're just ready to go.
Absolutely, man. I'm actually at a school right now. I got like 4 jobs, and one of my jobs is working at a school, so I had to pull some strings, man. Dedicated to it. You know what I mean? Couldn't miss this for nothing.
Are there a bunch of kids in some classroom right now, like unsupervised?
Nah, so I'm not the main teacher or anything like that. I do more assistant and things like that and help with like DI work and mentorship and things of that nature. I kind of help teach the teachers as well. You know what I mean?
Oh, I like that. Someone like you should have been around when I was growing up because I had quite a few teachers who could have used some help.
Haven't we all? For real.
Yeah.
Luckily, we stepping in that more progressive direction, though. Might be at a campus near you sooner than later.
I like that idea. I still turned out mostly okay, despite my public school upbringing.
Absolutely. I'm trying to be like you when I grow up.
That's not so hard, man. Awesome. So for everybody who is watching on our YouTube, feel free to pop questions in there or pop questions in Discord. I'll try to get to them because both these guys are pretty interesting. I said at the top, you were both at the live event in LA. Jessarae, you were sort of in LA. You were a backup musician for Jack, right?
That's right.
At the show, I didn't even know that you were like an actual musician, right? Like you were just there, like helping out. It's like, oh, I thought, oh, that's cool, like helping out. But then you did the show in San Francisco,
Yeah,
as your own artist, right? And I didn't get to go to that one, but everyone was like, oh wow, like, this guy's super legit. And that's when I first like looked you up. I was like, oh wow, yeah, he's actually really good. It was weird having you.
It's funny. Like I was like more nervous at the LA show because I was kind of like helping with sound and stuff, and I was like sweating bullets that show for some reason, even though the focus wasn't on me. That was much more terrifying.
But when you're out just doing it as you, it's easier. You're just out there.
Yeah, years of practice.
And you right now you're on vacation, but you just got back from a tour in the UK, right?
Yeah.
How's that?
It was dope, man. It was like I used to live in the UK. I did 3 years there from like I moved there when I was 19, and I toured a bunch. So I have a lot of fans there, and I hadn't been back in like 6 years. So I went out with my homies, the Driver Era. They took me out, and I opened for them. And the shows were just like a movie, as you'd say. Every show was insane. Just like, it was really cool. It was like my set was just me and an acoustic guitar, in front of like 1,500 people or whatever it was a night. And there's that type of size and those type of rooms, and like especially connecting with fans from like years ago is truly special.
Yeah, that's really great. 1,500 people is a good sized crowd.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
That's
don't
when
think
it
we had
gets,
that in LA.
yeah. Huh?
I don't think we have that many in LA. Like there was what, like 120 or something? It's intimate.
I think it was
No,
closer to 300 in LA.
Was it 350? There's like 500 people there.
dude, it doesn't even matter, man. Like for me, it's like honestly, just kind of do your thing, and if you can connect with one person, that's enough. I
Yeah,
genuinely
yeah,
believe.
for sure. So you're both on pretty different tracks musically. I would love to just start hearing a bit maybe about your music backgrounds. I mention this a lot because I'm interested in it, but it seems like they either started when they were 4 or they started later on in like high school, college. Maserati, let's start with you. Where did you start in music?
I would say at birth, probably pre-birth even. My mom and father was like heavily involved in music. My mom was a recording artist. My pops was a producer. Um, yeah, so for me, it's in my blood. You know what I mean? I actually started like taking it seriously myself though. Like recorded my first song when I was like 8, like 8. So that's probably like when it started. But like first getting paid and all that was like 2019 actually.
Oh, you started when you were 8 and you just started to get paid?
Yeah. So fun fact, but not so fun at all in actuality. I'm formerly incarcerated. So like I spent literally a third of my life in prison from the age of 17 to 26. So I was released in 2019 and got right to it and was fortunate enough to be in positions where I could get paid to do music.
Yeah, you shared that story in LA, which is a pretty powerful story. Um, and what you're doing now seems amazing to me. So that's a lot. Yeah, fun but not fun fact. Um,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, like quite literally, man, on a vigorous mission to change the world. Like literally, as naive or crazy it may sound, I feel like it's possible. I feel like we could do it. Like I said, man, formerly incarcerated, but during my journey of incarceration, I was fortunate enough to become acquainted with people in good positions, man, like Layla Steinberg, for instance. That's when I was introduced to like the mic sessions and Aim for the Heart and the work that we doing over there that I carried on to do when I got out. You know what I mean? Still work very closely with Layla and the team. Shout out Layla and the team. You know what I mean? And yeah, like definitely on a mission to change the world, bro. Like real talk.
you're honestly most of the people I've ever been a part of. Like you're constantly so positive on Discord. So the fact that you have that mission isn't a surprise to me, and that's amazing. I knew that you were working with Layla's nonprofit. Um, I didn't know that you started with that before you got out, like actually in prison. How did that work?
So Layla, it was Layla, Lewis King, Kiki Dexter, Stu, he was pulling up. It was quite a few people. But the Aim for the Heart team, as well as the Mike Sessions team, was actually hosting a class inside of San Quentin State Prison. And when I got there, that's when I was introduced to that class. And I was like 2017, I believe. And since then, it was no looking back, man. We've been locked in ever since. Like the vibe was second to none. And ultimately, like it was a lot that I was learning. It was a lot of takeaways. You know what I mean? Like as far as like emotional literacy standpoints through creative expression. So it was deeper than just going in there and just doing some music. You know what I mean? And that always stood with me. And just seeing the power in that, seeing how it impacted the people around me as well. You know what I mean? That ultimately empowered me and furthered my belief of what was possible and what we can do.
Yeah, that's amazing. But she doesn't like me talking about her work on the streams because she wants it to be about musicians. But clearly, she's impacted so many people's lives. It's really tremendous.
Absolutely, absolutely. If she don't like hearing about the work too bad, you're gonna hear about it. This work
But
got to
yeah,
get talked about.
right. What are you gonna do, right? Um, that's all the crew is rolled up in YouTube now, shouting you out. I love that support system. That's really amazing. Um, wow. So Jessarae, were you recording stuff when you were 8 also?
Yeah, I started playing guitar when I was 9 years old, and I think it started like my mom was doing music at the time, and like similar story to like Maserati. Like I have so much music in my blood, like going on back generations and stuff. So I just sort of picked it up, and it kind of started just coming to me, and songs were like coming through me and stuff. Starting at age 9, my mom dabbled in music, and I had a dad that was like a professional hockey player who did super well for like himself and for the family. And you know, he's just this guy from like a small town in Quebec that made his dreams come true. But he has like a very like humble roots, and so he always taught me like to be humble and honest and true. And my mom has been like super impactful in my mission and stuff, and got me into these sort of like spiritual leaders and talkers like Eckhart Tolle, and then she got me into this guy Sadhguru. And now I perform with him on tour as his backing and like for his mission and stuff too, as well as doing my own stuff. And yeah, there's just like, you know, music is such a powerful tool when you like really know what you have to give. And yeah, my parents were involved. They have a charity where they work with emancipated foster youth too. So I'm really fortunate to have grown up with so many different kinds of influences, especially as an artist. I think that, you know, the aim is like to really like tap into universal consciousness and what really connects us all. And like, I'm a really big believer that we all are very much more similar than we are different. I'm getting like, to be honest, like even being in Japan and stuff, like I don't feel like I'm in a foreign country. Like, most of the time I could look someone in the eye, chill with them and laugh, and like it's like immediate, you know, even though there's such a different language barrier and all kinds of stuff. So
we don't pre-plan any of these AMAs. This get a little heavy for me now. This is a lot of universal consciousness and like gurus. I think I'm more comfortable with the professional hockey player dad stuff. That's more my level of consciousness.
yeah, my dad too. He'd be like, "What? What are you talking about?" He's like, "I shoot puck into net." Love you, Dad.
Hey, it get deep, man. It get deep.
I guess so. So that stuff is an influence for you for your music then?
Like the universal consciousness, all that.
Yeah. Does that?
Yeah, like
writing?
I think that actually getting deep and stuff with this stuff is kind of I'm just a deep person, you know. But sometimes for me, I find like getting deep helps me become simple, if that makes sense.
Sure.
That's what it's about, man. Like even being here in Japan, like I was meditating with a Zen Buddhist, like monk and stuff, and it's so dope. And like there's just like this sort of like with meditation and stuff, there's this like universal truth, and it doesn't matter who you're talking to. It's like they're all kind of speaking the same language. So that's been a cool like discovery.
I feel bad. I feel like if I was in Japan, I would just spend the whole time just eating ramen.
There's been a lot of that too, man.
Okay. Good.
Meditate in the morning, ramen in the afternoon.
Perfect. So that's an okay schedule.
Yeah.
That's great. So Maserati, your music, I don't know what to call genre. It's kind of like acoustic rap. Did I make that up?
I think that's pretty accurate. I would say that's pretty accurate for sure. It's definitely an acoustic vibe, man, for sure. Man, I would say on a surface level, hip hop and R&B, but on a more like deep artistic level, for sure, we're gonna go with that acoustic vibe, man. Most definitely. It's unplugged. There we go. It's unplugged.
Yeah, there's a lot of like acoustic guitar mixed in there, right?
Definitely, but you know, it has a signature style. I have a signature style of play, man. Like while I was incarcerated, I was fortunate enough, you know, to exercise my brains and challenge myself. And I got tired of just playing. You know what I mean? And I wanted to add that percussion in there. I wanted that slap. You feel me? So we had to add that slap in there, and I figured it out. I figured it out how to do percussion patterns, drum patterns, and stuff like that simultaneously with the bass and rhythm strumming. You know what I mean? On top of rapping and singing. And in prison, man, you gotta get pretty creative and innovative. So just working with what I had. And that's actually where I picked up the guitar in 2012. While I was incarcerated, man, I got tired of beating on my chest, got tired of beating on bunks and beating on tables. You know what I mean? And I figured if I could beat on something in rap, then I can play. So I started off just doing like just one string little rhythms. You know what I mean? In the same sequence that I would like do like a pounding kind of beat and just replace that with notes. And it eventually evolved into what we see today.
So like all self-taught?
All self-taught. For sure. Like I had like a couple books and I had a couple mentors. Let me not just say all self-taught, like I just taught myself everything. I had like some OGs. I was pretty dope at the guitar, showed me like chords and things like that. And they gave me like theory packets and stuff like that. So I began to learn theory, the chromatic wheel, all that type of good stuff. You know what I mean? And it was an OG that taught me like the minor and major ninths, and that stuck with me more than anything. That's what I play like more than anything. You know what I mean? That became like my signature style for sure. Jamming with the minor and major ninths, with a dope bass line and some dope percussion beating on that thing.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, I like the style. It's different. Like it isn't like anybody else. Like it might just be because of the acoustic and like this is a different way. Like you're playing stuff. It's not something that you hear all the time. If people now, like if people are streaming this, I suggest they check out everybody who we're bringing on, just because people are just so different stylistically.
Right.
Same with you, Jessarae. You sound like someone, and I cannot figure out who it is, and you don't know the answer to this question because you couldn't know. But I listen to your stuff, and sometimes you hear someone's like, "Oh, they sound like this," and you sound like someone to me, and I cannot figure that out. Do you get that from other people, or am I just that one maniac?
I don't know. If you could think of it, that'd be interesting for me to hear.
Because your style is, when I was younger, genres were really easy because everyone was just kind of like a very specific sound. I'm not even really sure what your genre. What would you package yourself as if you had to put in a category?
Yeah, that's always for some reason been like a difficult question to answer, and I wonder why. Like that is, as artists, I think that it's like a limiting way to express it. But I guess you do need to classify to some degree what you're doing. You know, so for me, that I think that you would probably say it's like rock pop. You know what I do, but for me, it's like music is like I was saying earlier. It's like really spiritual, and I get myself fully invested in the music. So to me, it's it's much more than like a genre. It's like just my life. You know, like it feels like that's when I'm doing the thing. That's when I'm me for real. And I'm so grateful to have that outlet, you know, to express myself and be seen by the world. Because I'm an outgoing person, but like the true me, that's when the true me comes out, and that's what gives me gratification.
I like that. Yeah, I could maybe like a pop rock. I don't know. It feels kind of soulful.
Yeah, I think I just like tend to gravitate to more like soulful, classic kind of vibes. Like that's the kind of music that I truly enjoy. I really like the musicality of things and guitar, and just like, you know, when people are playing drums, but they're not just playing drums to hold the rhythm, they're actually like saying something, you know. So I tend to gravitate to those types of sounds.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. How do you guys feel about collaborating with other artists, or you prefer just to do your own thing?
I'll go first on this one.
Go for it. Yeah.
I love collabing. Me personally, I love collabing. I feel like what we do as artists, man, making music, it's very energetic, right? It's very spiritual to an extent, for surely. And one thing about energy, it becomes amplified. You know what I mean? The more parties that you got when you can hone in and tune in and get in sync. So like me personally, like I love to collab with creative minds, man. I love literally practically every genre of music. Like I listen to everything, stuff that ain't in English. I listen to classical, like all that. You know what I mean? So like I'm willing to incorporate practically every genre and collab with any and everybody if they dope. You know what I mean? To me, it's all about the outcome. If it's dope, if it's powerful, and that's the intent, you know what I mean? I feel like that's where it's at. So I love collabing. I love to vibe. I love to meet new people and just grow. You know what I mean? Ultimately, I feel like that's adding tools to my toolbox, and that's one of those iron sharpen iron type situations. You know what I mean? Give and take. And I feel like that's how you can possibly birth something new. You know what I mean? So like I'm definitely all for it. I love it.
Yeah, man, I feel the same way. You know, like I think like the more different, the better. You know, if you can relate to the passion and like the honesty with like if somebody's just doing something that you really feel, like almost the more different, the better. You know.
Yeah, I feel like if I was a musical person, and I'm not, but if I was, I would want to collaborate with people. I know it's not everybody's jam, but in my head, I want everyone to collab on different stuff. Like as we're bringing on emerging artists, like I want them to like team up and make new stuff together. I know not everyone's super into that vibe. Cyrano just popped into our YouTube. Cyrano, you're on vacation, man. Log off. You can't help it. He wants to be supportive. He knows both of you guys.
Absolutely.
Maserati.
Shout out to the big
Yo,
dog.
Maserati, we could do some cool stuff together, man.
That's happening.
I'm feeling.
That's happening. Y'all heard it here first.
Yeah.
It's going down. Maserati-E and Jessarae is
Let's
going
do it.
down.
I like that. If we like paired up, like people by their drop class, so you guys are dropping together, so you'll pair up. You'll have everyone who goes every week.
Those who drop together collab together.
That's right. I like that. Then we can have like
That part,
where you guys like where you pair up and compete against other teams, right?
Yeah.
definitely. Hey, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm all for
We're
it.
gonna
Let's do it.
crush them.
I want everyone to collaborate, but then also compete against each other somehow. Like I need to figure that out with my therapist. Maybe, like,
Yeah.
where that
We're like
comes from.
talking about the spirituality and all this stuff. Really, we're just like, we get all their songs suck.
Hey, it took a quick pivot.
Yeah.
That's what happens. That's what happens.
Just
So,
like that.
Maserati, I was doing a little bit of a dive on you, and I saw that you are Emmy nominated. Can you talk about that?
I am Emmy nominated. Absolutely. So my music was actually featured in a Netflix documentary, Cue Ball. While I was incarcerated, there was a documentary that was featured on, like I said, Netflix, Hulu, Fox Sports 1, select theaters that did like a theater run, film festivals, a bunch of things. And it was based on the San Quentin Warriors, which is the basketball team in San Quentin. And they play every year. They play the general staff of the actual Warriors, of the Golden State Warriors. So they play like the general managers, like coaching staffs, like a bunch of different people that's on the staff and stuff like that. I didn't play on the team at all, but my brother did, and I knew quite a few other people that did. So that's what got me locked in. And yeah, when they heard my music, I guess I was fortunate enough to make the cut. You know what I mean? They put it in the film, but it was nominated for 2 Emmys, and one of the Emmys was Best Musical Direction. And the producers of Cue Ball, they hit me up and was like, man, like, understand that you got to talk your shit now. Like, you are Emmy nominated. Like, a large portion of this goes to you. It's mainly because of this song, XYZ. So yeah, that's how that came about. And that's why I make sure to talk my shit about it.
Wow. So while they were filming there, they just heard you playing, and they're like, "Wow, awesome! Let's sign you up."
So it wasn't just like that. It was more so like my brother was on the team, been telling them about me, like even before I got to San Quentin and stuff like that. And it was quite a few other people there as well. Real good friend of mine, like a brother to me, man, Jason Jones. he actually stopped them and stuff too. Like, man, y'all need to hear my boy real quick. And I did like 3 songs, and one of them made the cut. Again, like I wasn't on the team or anything like that, but I was like closely related to like a bunch of people that was on the team. So like I got real tight with like the producers and stuff like that. And yeah, the song made the cut, man, and they featured it in there and put me in there, gave me some spotlight, man. A little bit of time to shine.
Nice. You weren't on the team, but you got Emmy nominated, so that's a pretty good consolation, right?
Absolutely. Blessings on blessings, man.
Who won that Emmy that year? Do you know?
Honestly, I do not know. I just was told that we did not win. But to talk my shit as an Emmy nominated artist, not an Emmy award winning artist.
We don't need to talk about the person who actually won the Emmy.
Hey, but shout out to them. You know, give them their flowers too. Not a hater, but a congratulator. So yeah, they get their flowers as well.
That's the kind of person you are. I would be a hater about it. If there was some kind of like community manager deal where like we were nominated for something, some community manager award, and somebody else won from something else, I wouldn't like that.
That'd
Paul,
be
are we in technical difficulties, Paul, or are we still live? Okay, so for those of you streaming along, I think Jessarae got cut from his feed in Japan, and so our screen says technical difficulties, but we're still here having fun talking about whatever the equivalent of an Emmy is for community managers. And if,
on the real.
and
you got my vote, Taco, for sure. You got my vote, man. We're gonna make sure you get that.
I appreciate it. Yeah, the guy from the yacht club wins it, and I'm like, oh, come on, like that should have been mine.
Man,
we should do something like that. Maybe that would be fun. Maybe I'll team up with some other communities and get something going.
Hey, let's do it. The Gala Awards. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be bigger than the Emmys. The Emmys gonna have to come knock at our door.
We could do the Gala Awards and have it just be community man. There's a bunch of community managers in the team. And so I wouldn't want to compete against them. No, they're all my friends. That would feel bad.
That might get a little tricky.
Yeah, they're all nice like you though. They'd be happy for me if I won it.
At least they wouldn't be haters. You know what I mean? Can't be a hater, be a congratulator.
No, we all appreciate each other.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Dude, Maserati, man, just listening to you talk, man, I love your vibe and like your energy, your positivity. It's really cool, man.
Thank you. And likewise.
Thank you. I
That's
appreciate
why we're gonna have you guys.
You know, we're gonna send out them high vibrations.
Let's do it.
So I'm getting a lot of comments, mostly about how much people like you guys. If anybody has any questions for either of these two gentlemen, pop them in there and I'll ask them, because that's what this is about. Sales on Thursday. I'm going to also pop in a Discord chat before that just to answer questions and whatnot. But this is what we're here for. If anybody has any questions, what are we missing from you guys? What do you think people need to know about you but don't?
I think like everybody has something unique to offer when it comes to art, and every voice really truly matters. And as long as you could be honest and with that voice, rather than, you know, even having a specific message or anything, but just being truthful to yourself, I think that's what people connect with. And for me, it just is, there's so much strength behind just being, you know, first finding yourself, which I think that it can take a long time. You know, for me, it's taken, I mean, gosh, more than maybe like 15 years, you know, to really like, I'm finally in a place now, and maybe it's like brain development as well as just practicing and working hard. But, you know, I'm finally in a place now where I can really, you know, have my center and really like know who I am as an artist and what I'm about. And there's a lot of value in that. And it literally doesn't matter who you are, you know, if you're willing to put in the work and stuff, get to that place, it's worth it. And you just got to be brave, you know, you just got to you got to take risks, you know. That's a huge part of it. You got to make yourself uncomfortable. That's just part of it.
Yeah, I like that take. I think there are a lot of artists who maybe are talented but don't necessarily come across as though they've like found their voice.
Mm.
Which I don't want to sound judgmental. I can't do anything. But you can tell someone who like is really secure in who they are and they're expressive and they're vulnerable and like their vibe is like, oh, like you hear somebody singing or doing their music, it's like, oh, like I believe them. Like this is true, this is real. And I think there's a real difference in that versus someone who's like they're just recording stuff, but they're not really feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. To piggyback
Absolutely.
off that, I definitely agree with that and ditto all that for sure, for sure. I want to encourage people, you know what I mean, to definitely understand that they graded in whatever their conditions may be. You know what I mean? As y'all are aware of my experience being formerly incarcerated and all that, I feel like it's a lot of takeaways that can be taken away from my experience. Overall, know that you graded it, know that you're worthy, know that you're powerful, and know that you're greater than what your conditions may be. Me coming from the hood, it's a lot of other people that came from the hood and stuff like that. And we begin to internalize self-input mental limitations. Know that we can break those barriers. We're much greater than that. And we can put in that work to inspire others to do the same. And ultimately walking in that and acknowledging that power, stepping into your authority, we can see a better tomorrow. And that is how we can quite literally break the mold and change the way that we've been molded. You know what I mean? And ultimately see better treatment for sure, for everybody. Like real equity. You know what I mean? Real justice.
And to piggyback off of that statement too, I think one thought that, you know, people, and especially in our generation have, and maybe people have always had, is like they look at the things that are wrong, you know, and they'll think like, well, this problem exists here or whatever, and it kind of like honestly being a part of the solution, you know, is so important. And focusing on yourself, like focusing on within, and the more you can like change your vibration to an internal one versus one where you're seeking, you know, acknowledgement or acceptance from anything outside, whether that's medication, a person, you know, anything like outside yourself. Like literally, the more you can recenter and choose love in every situation, be open, like that's the way to go, man. And choose consciousness, choose to like, you know, awaken to whatever your moods are and break those mental barriers. You know, choose
Absolutely.
love.
And got to give Layla a shout out again. That's why I feel like the work that we doing and Aim for the Heart in mic sessions is so important, because those are the skills that's being developed. You know what I mean? Not only for ourselves, but to create that level of energy that's infectious. You know what I mean? To influence others to get on the same hype and add tools to their toolbox as well. Because ultimately it's utilized for navigation. It's about agency and structure. We're utilizing a certain level of agency amongst this structure, and we navigating to make a change. You know what I mean? To break the mold, and it's happening.
Yeah, Layla has been a huge supporter of artists, and she's just been such a clear voice of like someone to really lean upon. And I think as artists, it's like we have to kind of navigate a lot of trials, because the life of an artist, you go through a lot of trials, but that also refines the art, you know, and it kind of it creates that sort of energy of like, and I think like just believing in yourself. And you know, there's 8 billion people on the planet, but you know, when you are truly you, there's like one of you, you know. And not a lot of people are singing, you know, not a lot of people have a song to sing. They could, but so
Yeah, that's
hopefully.
fair. I don't have a song to sing. I should. You guys are making me feel bad.
I don't have a song to sing.
Nah,
Yeah,
don't
got
feel
that.
bad.
I'm out of here like that.
You're going to the shower. You're gonna go sing a song, bro. I feel it.
Cyrano needs me to talk about Web3. He popped it up in YouTube. I know he's at home watching, saying, talk about Web3. How are you guys finding exploring the Web3 space? What do you want from it? And how can we help make that better for you?
I take this one first. So like first and foremost with the Web3 space, it's incredible, right? The reason being, I feel like the level of connectivity that we now have, like you able to connect with people all over the world utilizing the internet, which already been there, but now it's to a far more in-depth degree. Like prime example, like being able to host a concert, for instance, you know what I mean, through the Web3 space, utilizing like those goggles and things like that. Like I feel like the level of connectivity is just way more in depth now. And to me, that's super exciting. That's the level of engagement is much different. You know what I mean? Everything is just enhancing. So for things to be enhanced to this degree, I was just talking about it earlier. Like I just feel blessed to be a part of that. You know what I mean? Early on and to grow with this. You know what I mean? So like I'm super excited about it. But I do still have a lot to learn. I am like a little baby in this Web3 space, man. So I still got a lot to learn and definitely open to learning more. You know what I mean? But the limited knowledge that I do have now is very exciting, very intriguing, and I really don't have any input on what to do to make it better, at least not yet. Again, because I got that baby knowledge. You know what I mean? I ain't a grown man in this just yet. Still growing. Got it's levels to this. You know what I mean? But as I continue to grow, I definitely could come back with a much solid answer. But as for now, I feel like everything is going good, man. It's definitely going good, and it's exciting to see it develop, to see it grow, to see it evolve.
Yeah, I agree, and I think to be on the back of something that feels like it's new and it's bubbling up and it's exciting for everybody. I mean, as an artist, that's where you want to be. You want to be on the thing that people are then talking about 2 years down the road, and you want to be on the forefront, you know. And especially like an artist myself that I have more classic influences. It's like I could choose like bits of that when it comes to my passion and certain things, but the way I conduct myself in business and as an artist, it's really important for me to be involved with the next big thing, especially with people like you guys said. Like everybody who I've met has been so gracious, and it seems like everything is so supportive of the artists and connecting with fans in a way that we haven't seen before. But you know, still a baby and I'm still learning, but I think we're putting ourselves out there, which is super cool.
Yeah, I think the thing both of you guys touched on that is my favorite thing is the connections. Like there's the utility for the NFTs. There's going to be, the rewards distribution with the NFTs and the nodes. But for me, it's having that access to artists and for them to be able to access their fans in a different way and form those bonds and those connections. That's the thing I'm the most excited about. And so I think if we focus on that, we're going to be in a good place as you learn the actual, technology behind it, which is a lot. Think wants to know, what is the reason why you guys got into music? Like what started you off? What made you want to learn guitar or whatever you started with first?
For myself, man, what got me into music first and foremost, I was influenced, you know what I mean, by family initially, for sure. Like I said, my mother did music. My uncles growing up, they had the studio and stuff like that. So I was around it and witnessing it from a very early age, like literally as long as I can remember. You know what I mean? Like my pops, like I said, was in it all the way down the lineage. My great great granddaddy, you know what I'm saying, was in a band and stuff like that. That was pretty popular. And I used to watch him perform and stuff like that. So just that influence of like the people that I looked up to being involved in it, I would say definitely had me wanting to lean towards it. And then just kind of being good at it naturally, that kind of always feels good when you're good at something, you know what I mean? So like naturally I leaned into it because like I was pretty good at it. And ultimately, I think why I stuck with it and continued to like develop, my artistry, was more for like cathartic reasons. Like at the end of the day, like I always was like a kind of like a quiet kid, you know what I mean? Like I didn't feel like I had value. I didn't feel like I had power and stuff like that. And music was one of the ways I was able to express that and get that out and allow myself to feel heard, even if it was just to myself. You know what I mean? Like music was an escape. Music was therapy. Music was a lot. Music was everything at one point. So it's like, for me, that started very early on. And that's the things that motivated me to keep going. You know what I mean? Like I grew up in Oakland, moved to Stockton very early on, and the things that was going on around me wasn't too positive. You know what I mean? So I was able to capture my life and put it in a form that was cool. You feel me? So for myself, that was pretty powerful, and that made me feel empowered. So I would think that was like one of my biggest motives for sure.
Yeah, man. There's just been so many instances of just that choice is just, it's like I keep choosing it, as the years and the reasons change. Like at first it's just, my eyes just gravitated towards the guitar just because it's like it was the thing that just caught my eye. And then you kind of fall in love with the hard work that's involved and the calluses and stuff. It feels cool to have your own thing, and then you go to school or something and you have your guitar and you talk about guitar and you play guitar with your friends and you make friends because of it, and then yeah, you go through like some shit. Adult life is so weird, and then the guitar is still there for you. When you pick it up, it just becomes this like cathartic, meditation almost. And now it's almost like, performing is like the guitar and my voice and everything. It's like it's become this one singular thing. It's just it's there. We're almost interconnected at this point. Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned being drawn to the guitar. When I was in middle school, we had to learn an instrument, and I was drawn to the trombone for whatever reason. That's the one where I was like, that is the thing right there. Instead of being drawn to, let's say, a guitar, I would have would have made all the sense in the world. It's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm a trombone guy. Which
Trombone's cool, but you don't get as many chicks that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, but that's original.
Like it's part. Like, yeah.
But trombone is cool, but as you know, that isn't going to lead into a lot in your life. Like that's not going to carry you through stuff. You're not going to be doing, writing ballads on the trombone at parties.
Serenade your girl with the trombone, man. That's how you do it. That's a real player move right there.
Yeah.
I love you, baby. I wrote you this song.
Oh man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, trombone needs to have a resurgence, man. I'm feeling it. It's coming back.
You don't hear enough brass anymore, right?
I know.
For real.
I agree.
I'm going to challenge you guys when you do your first collab. Put a little trombone in there.
I'm with it. We can
All
make
right,
a
come on
trombone
over,
dope.
bro.
We're gonna have Taco on the trombone when we perform it for sure.
You don't forget how to play the trombone, right? I could pick that back up again.
Absolutely.
I'll see if it's still at my mom's house. I'll let you know. Let's talk about the songs that you guys are dropping this week, just so people know what to expect. And if they're not already in the Gala radio in the Discord, they should be. So drink your OJ, get it together if they're not in there yet. Maserati, what's the song you're dropping? What's the vibe? Why is it important to you? Why do I care about it?
Absolutely. So the song is titled Break the Mold. And it's actually like a call to action, man. I want to tell a quick little story about how it even came about. So I was incarcerated when I created the song. I was in a prison called CMC, California's man colony located in like San Luis Obispo. And it was about to be a riot. Everything in California prisons are like racially segregated, and it was a white dude that grew up in the hood and was a Crip, which is like a black gang. So he came in and he was rocking with his homies. But the way the politics work in prison, like you can't do that. That is against the politics and the rules for the whites in prison. So they had to take action on that, right? And voice that. And long story short, it was this big standoff, and it was about to be a riot. And I noticed that those people that I'd never even seen at the prison before, that I was outside ready to participate in this riot. You know what I mean? From many different races, like everybody, you know what I mean? And I'm just seeing so many people that I, again, never even knew was there. And fortunately, did nothing happen. We was able to talk it all out. Everybody got to common ground. But that night, it just bothered me to my core, man, that everybody could come together for some bullshit versus coming together for something powerful, something progressive, something positive. You know what I mean? And it just hit me like, man, if we could come together, like we could change the world forever. You know what I mean? Like if we would have had that same type of energy, that same type of unity, we could see a much better tomorrow. Like things would be so different because we have these systems that we abide by that's self-input, like for like the prison politics, for example, like all that racially segregated stuff like that. That's stuff that we did to ourselves. You know what I mean? Now it may have derived from like divide and conquer tactics and things of that nature, but we still abide by that on our own. So if we was to come together, like, can you imagine what we can accomplish? And from there, that's when the song "Break the Mold" was birthed. And the reason why you should care about it, because it is a call to action. If you care about the world that we living in today, if you care about making a difference, if you care about the problems that we face with the inequities, the injustices that we see on a daily basis, then you should care about this song for sure, and you should follow suit. I created this song with the intent of inspiring people, moving people to action. I hope that you feel something to the point that you act upon it. You know what I mean? And yeah, I feel like it's applicable to any and everybody, for sure. Our minds have been molded by so many things in so many different ways. And again, if we come together, we could change the world forever. We could break the mold for sure. So that's what I'm pushing. That's the vibe. That's the motive. That's the intent. You know what I mean? And I hope it's infectious. Let's spread that and not the Rona.
It's hard not to get behind that, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So my song is called "Love and So It Goes," and it's very similar actually. It's about that same idea, how people could come together for like so much nonsense, you know. And this song is about how easy it is to choose love in every situation, and what life would look like if more people chose love. And what I mean by that is staying open, staying conscious and aware of yourself, and what that would look like if that was the choice that people made more, because everything is a choice ultimately, you know. And just knowing that and taking responsibility for your choices and your energy. And you can't, you know, we need to get past the, oh, that wasn't me yesterday that said that to you, that wasn't me, that was something else. No, that was you, man. You know. And I think it's inspired by my journey, like working with said guru, and you know, going on a meditation retreat for like, I went for a week in Tennessee, you know, where we're eating our food in silence with our hands and not looking at anybody else, and just sitting, taking lots of meditation moments just to sit in silence. And it was about like 6 days in when it really clicked that we are all part of this thing together. You know, and I really felt that in such a powerful way. And, you know, just talking about like these mental kind of blockages we have so many movies telling us that you need to love one person and give them your whole heart. But what if we can be, especially as artists, people that love our community, you know, and truly, what would the world look like if we truly loved, you know, everybody, to the point where, Taco, if you needed me to come there and give you tea because you were like sick, man, I'd be at your door, just like I'd be there for my brother or my mom. So it sounds like we have similar, you know, these songs are kind of coming from the same place, which is source, or whatever you want to call it, you know, just truth.
Definitely. Hence why the collab makes sense.
Yeah, I'm down, dude. Say less, bro.
You guys have to collab now. I feel like maybe the trombone doesn't make as much sense. I mean,
we still incorporating the trombone. It's still going down.
Throw it in anyway. That's the song.
It'll just be like in one measure, like the last note of the song. Beep.
Look, challenge accepted. We throwing that in there.
Close it out with some sad trombone.
A solo. There we go. That's how that's happening.
Sad, solemn trombone.
Awesome. That feels like a pretty good place to wrap up to me. I feel like we covered everything. You guys did it. We still haven't. No one's come in here and blown it yet, which I like that.
Hell yeah.
Someone's gonna come on one of these streams and freak out, and something crazy is gonna happen. But so far, that's mostly
we're not gonna be the reason.
No, and the cool thing is for Gala, it's like you guys, like people that watch us and support us. The idea is that you're really working with these artists that are seriously going to change the world and be the next big superstar, and that's a very real thing. So it's super exciting. You know, I'm happy to be a part.
That's the hope, right? Like one of you guys is the next, you know, megastar, and I get to say, hey, yeah, I did an AMA with them on YouTube for Gala.
Totally.
So
It's gonna
I'm
happen.
also a star.
It's definitely gonna happen. Don't be surprised when it do.
I won't be surprised. Honest to God, I think there's a lot of super talented people on Gala already. Yeah, it wouldn't be any surprise on my end. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Some of you are in classrooms or in Japan, so I know in both cases it wasn't as easy.
Hopefully we last a little longer than a shooting star, though. You know,
Mhm.
like just flash
Yeah.
it. Oh, that was sick.
Yeah, sale is on
Arigato
Thursday.
gozaimashita.
Good luck to both you guys, and thanks everybody for tuning in. That was great. Thanks.
Absolutely glad to be here.